himself, Fred Amata, my boss.
Okay.
I'm very loyal. So I have with me, I'd like you to introduce yourself, sir, so that people can get to know who you are, and just tell us who you are. Thank you.
Okay, my name is easy. My name is Fred Amata. I'm very good as a chief. I'm an actor, director, and currently the president of the Directors Guild of Nigeria, outgoing president. Well, that's who I am. You want some more details?
No, we'll get to more details. This is supposed to be like a 15-20 minute interview. I'd like you to tell us about your journey into the Nigerian entertainment industry. Back in the days, though, not all the sophisticated experience that many of us are having. Talking about back in the days of Tales by Moonlight. So tell us how your journey started and why the entertainment industry. Why acting?
My challenge in telling that story is that I have to tell the backstory first before I tell that's my challenge. But I'll try and capture the backstory in as few words as possible. And it is that I grew up into what I like to describe as a legacy of creativity. My father, Johnny Fogali Amata, in 1957 did a film. He was actor in the film. He co-wrote the film and he starred in the film. He was like lead, which is what I grew up with when I was born, watching Daddy on big screen. So by the time I was formed, I wanted to be like Daddy. I wanted to be an actor, a filmmaker. And I struggled and I got into university to study theater arts in the University of Jos and graduated in 1986. By this time, they had convinced me that, hey, you went to study theater arts, you will suffer in Nigeria. You will sew gari for a living. And so when I finished with a BA honors in 1986, I wanted to work in NNPC. And I did everything I could to be posted to NNPC in Lagos from Jos. And I ended up being posted to NTA. And by 1987, I was already on national television. And by 1988, I was already directing, assistant director for Ripples for a program that was on national television. And in those days—
I remember the show. I remember Ripples.
First of all, there were no other TV stations. There was only one TV station, NTA, and then the NTA branches. And I happened to be, so every Friday by 8:30, everybody who was watching television was watching the program I was doing. That is huge. You cannot achieve that anymore these days. So that's how I got into Nollywood. From actually by 1988, 89, 90, before the birth of Nollywood, I was already directing Ripples for national television. So when Nollywood was born in 1993, I was already a director, and we just naturally gravitated towards filmmaking. So I cut my teeth in NTA.
Wow. So comparing, because I remember the program Ripples, I grew up watching that show. There were programs that had so much value. You know, back in the days, any Nigerian movie that was on air at the time had lessons. There was always lessons at the end of every show. Comparing them and today, what do you think has been the disconnect with Nigerian entertainment sector?
I wouldn't call it a disconnect. I would call it a development. When we took off, a lot of us were trained in theater arts and the arts and filmmaking and theater, and especially theater. And arts for art's sake was not a very huge issue. So everybody wanted to do something that was didactic. And we wanted also to borrow from the nuances and practices of storytelling in our environment, which usually tended to be didactic in nature and had something to teach. And that is what the early audiences connected with. Even when the films were terrible, they told you a story that this is bad. We always tried to preach a lesson in our stories. But as it grew, if you remember, when we started from the connection between society and film is very strong. What is prevalent in the society is usually prevalent in the expression of filmmakers in film. And so when we started, remember there was the time when every film ended with a particular line. Do you remember the line?
No.
Every film. It is usually at the end of the film. It is just written at the end of the film. Can you remember?
If you can tell me, I'll remember. I don't think so.
The glory.
Yeah. That is so true. So God be the glory.
That's how all our films ended. That is not when you couldn't finish your film, you just put "To God be the glory," and the audience knew the film was over. So that was the development, and the developments were, filming is a collaborative effort, and every department in the process of filmmaking is as important as the other department. But in the development of Nollywood, what I call the Nollywood evolution, it's always the different departments of filmmaking were developing at different paces. So if you understand the developments to be like directing, scripting, acting, producing, lighting, writing, all of those things actually were developing individually. Stage design, lighting design, storytelling, plotting. The initial stories that we started with, typical example, Glamour Girls. Is a soap opera put together, different stories. Wow. And that's how most of the films were written at that time. And then as it evolved, we now got to the position where we now started telling what in film terms is called the hero's journey, where you can start with this guy, he has a problem, he wants to make sure that his child goes to school or something, and as he's going, and you follow that story from the beginning till when he gets his child in school and everything happens after so many challenges. It's called the hero's journey, and that is the structure we are telling now. And so that is how didactism was in the initial storytelling prevalent, because when we couldn't find resolutions to endings and everything, we took the easy way out because we hadn't properly developed. So there were a lot of contrived resolutions. Climax.
You're muted, my president. Okay, probably network. So let's give him a moment. The goal of this is to have conversation. Nigeria is a beautiful country, very diverse. Our cultural integration is astronomical. So I'm going to encourage any conversation, any sector. The series is just called Let's Talk. And people are educated. Over to you, my president.
Okay, sorry, a call distracted me, so I didn't get the last thing.
It's okay. Carry on.
So,
you were talking about the plots. Yes.
Along that line, and then until people started realizing, like now, what is prevalent is that now look, there is a business that is filmmaking, and to get the best out of this business, you must communicate at several intricate levels to your audience. And sometimes only didactism is not good enough. You must have all the elements in the film. And a good example is the new film by Funke Akindele that has all the elements close to the target audience. And so with that coming more in focus, there's a concept that says that art imitates life and life imitates art. And so as we begin to express more and more the things that are prevalent within society begin to make interesting subject matters for film production. That's another story. I was going to talk about the influence of what's happening on the style of film that happens. So with this evolution, there is a clearer, more concise storytelling that even when it is being didactic, you don't really feel you don't feel that it is contrived. You think, yes, this is how it should be. So it is a development. If you look properly, our stories are still narratives that end up with a didactism that tells you that good is better than evil and that good will always triumph over evil. So even in Omogeto, it is the same. The end is that that crime does not pay. So it is. So it's only a development, not a departure.
Thank you so much. So it's not as if there's a disconnect. It's more about the evolution, the journey from where we were to where we are and to where we'll likely be going. Because the truth of the matter is, Nollywood has done a lot of work. I mean, I travel abroad. Whenever I travel, they will say, do you know this person? So we have actually taken our culture into the international community and getting the people aware. Let me hear you talk on challenges that is confronting the entertainment industry, Nollywood. Just itemize them. If those challenges can be surmounted, where will likely be?
Okay, there are so many. It's not going to be easy to itemize them without a proper study. But we can look at some of the very glaring challenges. The first and the most significant is funding. And why do I say the most significant? Film making in Nigeria is not structured in such a way that the financial institutions in the country are easily ready to support it. So a lot of the financing is coming out of ingenious, creative new out-of-the-box thinking that tries to circumvent the financial structures in Nigeria and bring about an assurance. The loan structure, for instance, for businesses in Nigeria is totally what's the word? Anti-filmmaking. It doesn't give room for filmmaking whatsoever, and the bankers don't understand it. A lot has been tried. They've tried to do a lot in terms of funding. A lot of grants, not necessarily grants, and loans have been introduced. And the percentage of their successes are usually very, very low because there's this huge demarcation. Now, for me, I look at the evolution of Nollywood and I see areas where Nollywood is developing exceptionally. One of those areas is in acting. Our actors have evolved the uncanny ability to deliver believable performances without the usual preparation that gives actors all over the world the ability to perform at the highest level. So acting in Nigeria has evolved dramatically. I also ascribe that to a propensity for Africans, especially Nigerians, to be good in acting. If you take the Yoruba film culture, for instance, up until recently when scripts have become a serious endeavor, the Yoruba industry evolved with storytelling. So there's a story, and then the director gets an actor who can deliver a scene or several scenes. And all the director does is say to the actor, okay, this is the scene where you quarrel, where you throw her out of the house. And then says to the actors, action. The actors, without realizing it, start to write the script. So they produce their own dialogue. They produce their own movements and understanding. And before you know what, the scene is believable, is strong. But it was the original power of their acting propensity that got them there, not because the director told them this. So in acting, we have now that we are now using some of the nuances of getting better, of an act of preparing, we have better acting. One area that developed rapidly also, and I mentioned it also, is scripting. Yet we have not actually gotten to the beginning point, let me put it that way, the midpoint of where we should be as writers, creating dialogue, scripting, creating plots and suspense and all of that. But because of where we started from just bringing a bunch of stories together to where we are now, scripting has developed. Because of the many apps and applications available for writing scripts, script writers have developed tremendously within Nollywood. Yet, we still need to climb over the precipice where we now start having true original dialogue and scripting that is not encumbered by the experiences of the past, that can attain a level of originality that you can look at and immediately recognize. A lot of times you're watching films and you can almost tell the next line. I'm sure a lot of people know that, but by the time you develop it, it's not easy. I'm going to try it in some of the ghetto language that they introduced in terms of scripting. I thought that was very good. And a lot of new films are coming out like that with strong dialoguing and scripting, but not yet Eldorado. Which area would I talk about again?
I want you to talk about. I want you to say something because we're almost getting to the 30 minutes mark. I want you to say something with regards to the young people, youth generally, how they can be persistent, resilient, despite the adversity that we are confronted with. Nigeria is completely a complicated country, highly complex, but I've never seen any kind of brilliant people in the world like Nigerian, despite the horrible exposure to adversity that we are exposed to. Nigerians, I believe, are one of the most brilliant people. If they had the right enabling environment with the right mindset, we would change the world. I believe that because I can see what I'm doing with Learntor. I've met with you, I've interacted with you, so I know what we are capable of. What would you advise young people that want to get into this sector?
Okay, I agree totally with you about the level of talent or the depth of creativity that exists within the average creative Nigerian. I agree totally with you. Maybe the environment is exactly right. Necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. So I think the environment, the handicaps that we all see, they're exactly right to ginger, to spur the creative impulse in the Nigerians. So, and you can see it happening everywhere. A group of boys in Kaduna decides that, okay, they are going to shoot a promo. They're going to reshoot a promo from a film for a film, and wow, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and they get it right. And they get it right. That is the kind of talent I was talking about earlier when I said that there's a propensity in the average Nigerian to excel in the creative space. And we can see this on a daily. The explosion of social media and social media apps to create videos, for instance, has given the young Nigerian ample space to express. And I'm excited and overwhelmed by the quality of what they can do. I live in a community where there are a lot of young people, and I see the people coming around, young boys and girls between 15 and 20 something, are doing marvelously well, creating content. Now, this is another level of the evolution of filmmaking in Nigeria. There's a whole world of filmmakers who exist purely on social media, making little skits of themselves. Making little skits. I know a boy who has 5 characters he plays. A pastor, a nun, a member of the church, and he combines it all. And he has no formal training. It's just the propensity within them to look at, oh, somebody has done it. Which app they take to them? They say, they use video, they use this app, they use app. Okay, I will do my own. And because they are innately talented, look at the internet and see the quality of films, 1-minute films. You see, some people think that a film must be 120 minutes. No, 1-minute film is a film, it's a full film. You have short films. So we have a lot of short films are going on, and I think an explosion is actually coming. So there's so much, but I always say in any case to everybody that look, talent is not enough. You can have talent, it is only 33.3%. Then you need another 33.3%, and that is management. Management is, or administration is how you develop your art, how you develop yourself as a person. And are you disciplined? If they say call time is 6 o'clock, are you there at 6 o'clock? If they say if somebody gives you a job and says submit in 2 weeks, are you submitting it in 2 weeks? All of that. And then this 33.3% is in three places to make you a success. 33.3% talent, 33.3% management and administration, 33.3% X factor, luck, opportunity, and so forth. And Moreno put it like this: he said, good luck is when hard work meets opportunity. So when you are talented, do the hard work, prepare, because the opportunities are coming. And so when your hard work meets an opportunity, you excel. So that's what I say to the young.
Thank you so much. I want to say particularly thank you, my president, Olorogun Fred Amata, Nigerian.
Next month.
Yes, I want you to speak about being president of Directors Guild of Nigeria. How has that journey been for you? I'm not in a rush. How has that experience been for you leading? Nigerians are not the easiest to lead.
That is a whole...
Highly opinionated. And most of the opinion, we don't even understand what we are opinionated about. Ah, geez. How has it been being the president of Directors Guild? And I know we have an upcoming election. I'd like you to speak to that as well.
Well, it is almost impossible. It's difficult to capture the experiences of the last 4 years in a few words. But it has been a major learning process for me in understanding the nuances of humanity, of people, of managing people with various interests. And in the Directors Guild of Nigeria, there's an added extra challenge. All directors are the creative head, number one, in any production. So they have developed over the years an independence and a level. So it is like you are leading leaders, and they are all equally opinionated and equally driven, and their ideas can be at variance with yours, and it could be challenging. And so I've been through 4 years of various kinds of challenges, and I'm excited that we could give in our best. And now we're giving our best to ensure that there's a proper transition that is laudable and meets up with our antecedents of high standards.
I want to sincerely say thank you so much, my president. I am truly humbled. I am truly grateful for the honor of interviewing you and for you to speak about the entertainment industry in Nigeria, where you were able to take us on a journey. I remember Ripples. That was a great, was it not Ripples that we lost Musa?
No, Nosa was lost in behind the clouds.
Checkmate.
No, behind the clouds.
Behind the cloud.
From Just. Behind the
Sir?
clouds was Sundays. Ripples was on Fridays.
Okay.
Checkmate came later. Checkmate came later. And I was also in Checkmate as actor, and I directed.
Really?
Yeah.
We need to get those clips out. I mean, these are movies I believe that many people need to watch. They are evergreen stories that never go out. And I'm so glad that, what's his name? This producer guy, Wale Adenuga, has gotten the license for Tales by Moonlight, Village Headmaster. So it's going to come back to the end.
A different level. He's a pioneer in several sectors, not just film. And he has, even in Ibadan here, we just drove past his PFT school. He has it in Lagos. He has it in Oshodi, I think. He's on a different level. He's was it something Super Story?
Yeah, Super Story.
Yeah, that was a great one for. But he has an institute, and his institute is completely, totally integrated for filmmaking. So if you go to his institute, you come out. Before you come out, you would have shot several films. His hostels are locations. His classrooms are locations. His entire thing is a location. So when you go to school there, you are going to a location. And then he teaches you how to make films, and then takes you to locations. And then the equipment, everything is there. He's a great guy. He's a great guy, great pioneer.
I need to interview him. Can we connect him? I'd like him to tell story, because one of the reasons why I'm doing Let's Talk is documentation. Nigerians, we don't have documentation. So we've done so much work. It's not documented or archived anywhere. Anyway, my next guest is going to be the president of AM. I can't wait to have her on. Madam Peace. It will be an honor.
The founder of AMA.
AMA, yes, so
words. Yes.
The founder of AMA. Anyway, so thank you so much, sir. I'm so grateful. I will speak to you. Let's connect with Wale Adenuga and let's tell his story. It will be an honor to interview him. For me, my boss, one of my board members said, Mercy, you're not documenting, you're videomenting.
Yes, if videomenting is also documenting.
I know. So instead of document, is videomenting. And this, somebody can watch and go back and connect with it at some point. I want to say thank you. I'm very grateful. Truly, truly grateful. I sincerely appreciate the time and the journey.
All mine. Let's see. George-Igbafe. Nice to